the 2017 Cadillac XT5. This is Cadillac's brand new midsize crossover, and it is so important for Cadillac's future. And I gotta be honest with you, this is a car that I really wanted to like, but in my overall opinion, it just falls kind of short. I'm Jay, and welcome to this latest episode of CarBuzz Unboxing Reviews. And yes, this is the brand new Cadillac XT5 Platinum all-wheel drive. Platinum all-wheel drive, meaning this is the top trim Cadillac XT5 you can buy today. Now, just so that you have some background info regarding this midsize luxury crossover, it is the successor to the Cadillac SRX, which, well, it was never a very good midsize luxury crossover, but then again, Cadillac was in the process of becoming a brand new luxury brand, kind of like rebranding itself, and the SRX was a decent attempt, and compared to the competition today, such as the BMW X3, the Porsche Macan, the SRX just didn't cut it, but the XT5 is supposed to be very different. But let's start up this engine here, and then I want to talk to you all about that. Alright, so that was a 3.6 liter V6 with 310 horsepower and 271 pound-feet of torque. It is paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission, and because, like I said in the beginning, this is the top-of-the-line Platinum, all-wheel drive is standard. You can get it, front-wheel drive is actually standard on lower trim levels. In fact, for the base XT5, you can only get it in front-wheel drive, starting with the luxury trim, which is the second to the lowest level. You can pay for about an extra $2,500 for the all-wheel drive. And I think it might be a good thing to do because this is a nice all-wheel drive system. Whenever the system detects like a slide while you're driving, the all-wheel drive system will send 100% of that power to the front or rear wheels wherever the slide is detected. So I think it's a smart system, and if you can afford the extra $2,500, definitely go for it. Now, as far as the engine and transmission combo itself, this is that V6 and the 8-speed automatic are the only transmission engines you can get in the XT5 today. So let's talk a little bit about this exterior here, because I think this is the XT5's strongest selling point. I really like that exterior. It's just sharp, it's chiseled, it looks different than a lot of the other cars on the road. It's the latest evolution of Cadillac's art and design theme. It's just It works very well. For an example, this dark granite metallic paint, I really like it. At first, I wasn't so sure about it, but now that I see it in the direct sunlight, I think it's a winning color. And you have these 20-inch 12-spoke wheels. Of course, these are part of the Platinum trim, and I think they look spectacular on this car. I do like all that, a lot of extra bits of chrome. That's pretty much something you get in all Cadillacs today, but bravo to Cadillac, you did a great job with this exterior design. Now, back to this engine here. You're going to go from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 6.6 seconds, and top speed is around 130 miles per hour. Fuel economy, again, this one is all-wheel drive, was 18 miles per gallon in the city, 26 on the highway, and a combined 21, although we only managed to get 14 miles per gallon in the city, but bear in mind there was a lot of stop-and-go traffic here. Now, the vehicle weighs just over 4,300 pounds, so it's pretty heavy here. And just so that you know, this is built on the same platform as the GMC Acadia, which is originally a front-wheel drive-based platform. Now, this interior, they call it maple sugar with jet black accents, and I also have to compliment Cadillac here that the overall design and dash layout of this interior is just really nice. It fits the exterior look appropriately. Now, all that wood you see, it is not fake, which if you remember those old Cadillacs from the late 1970s and early 80s, they had fake wood. It looked cool, but it was still fake wood. This is real wood. That is real brushed aluminum trim. So it's great to see Cadillac pushing the envelope as much as possible, and it needs to, because you have those German brands such as Porsche, BMW, Audi. They all they're all banking in on this luxury midsize crossover segment today. And one of my concerns about the XT5 overall, and I'll get to this more in a few minutes, is that it's a little too late in the game. Another thing I like about this interior is, oh man, it is spacious. The only thing that I noticed where you might, or taller passengers in the second row might run into problems is because of the panoramic sunroof. But what's great is that there's just a lot of leg and shoulder room in general. And yes, those seats, they're 8-way power lumbar. I mean, they're really, really comfortable. You also have a driver memory package, and even the rear seats are heated. Now, some other features you're going to get, again, because this is the Platinum trim, a 14-speaker Bose audio system with surround sound, again, panoramic sunroof, which is actually standard on every trim except for the base model, wireless charging, a tri-zone climate control, 4G LTE Wi-Fi, head-up display, and what's great here is that it's also Apple CarPlay and Android Auto capable, which, again, I think every luxury car today has to have those two things standard, without question. Now, this overall dash layout, as I was saying, I really like it. It's not overly complicated, and it's kind of simple, luxurious, and that's a good thing. So, Cadillac kind of played it safe here, but I still do have some complaints. For starters, this center console, when you touch it compared to some of the metal buttons on the dash, like in the climate control system, it feels cheap, and it shouldn't. It almost feels as if this is GM going into its parts bin and just taking a center console and just slapping it in there and not really caring all that much, and that doesn't cut it anymore in this segment. Now, this is an 8-inch touchscreen. It is the latest version of Cadillac's CUE infotainment and nav system, and generally speaking, I like it. I did a previous review of a Cadillac, the CT6, which is brand new, the new sedan luxury flagship, and the CUE system there, I really did like it. It's overall fairly intuitive. I didn't experience any sort of rebooting issues. I do think I like BMW's iDrive a bit better than this, but if you are just buying your first vehicle with an infotainment system, this CUE system it's really nice to have. So how does this XT5 drive? Well, let me tell you, it's neither engaging nor boring, but there's just too much interior noise for a vehicle at this price. There are 3 driving modes. They include Tour, all-wheel drive, and Sport. And let me tell you, Sport is really not that sporty. I also think that the 8-speed automatic transmission, it needs some calibration refinements. There were some lurches when it was changing gears, especially with the downshifts, which I thought were a little too slow to come. Now back to this interior a little bit, because I really want to stress it. Even the glove box lining there felt cheap, and I've been in many luxury vehicles before, so I can compare apples to apples here, and it's those little things like having a lined glove box there really makes a difference, and it's just not where it should be. And another thing I noticed, that the automatic dual zone climate control buttons, those are metal, and yet there are plastic buttons for the seat controls, and those plastic buttons, they just feel cheap to press, and I don't like that. Compared to modern BMWs and Audis, you don't feel that sensation whatsoever. And of course, having a panoramic sunroof, is, I think, almost a standard feature today. Again, this is standard with the exception of the base model. This transmission, the 8-speed automatic. Also, I did not like this gear lever. It feels kind of weird. It's a little clunky. And compared to, let's say, the electronic transmission shifter in a Jeep Grand Cherokee, which I also found to be a little annoying, this was more so. But take a look at the steering wheel here and that wood trim. That is nice, real wood. And again, bravo to Cadillac for putting real wood where it belonged in a vehicle as expensive as this. And when I get to pricing, oh man, you're going to understand why Cadillac is charging so much. Well, then again, maybe they shouldn't be. Now, some standard safety features here you're going to get is that this car is so new, it hasn't even been officially crash tested by the U.S. government. But you're going to get driver and passenger airbags, front and rear head curtain airbags, driver's knee airbag, rear view camera, surround vision, side blind zone alert, lane change alert, rear cross traffic alert, forward collision alert, front pedestrian detection, lane keep assist with lane departure warning, front and rear parking assist as well. So yes, this is a very safe vehicle. I don't expect it to fail any sort of serious government crash test whatsoever. So what's the competition here? Now, as I already mentioned, you have the Porsche Macan, all trim levels of that from the base all the way up to the turbo. You also have the brand new Jaguar F-Pace, the BMW X3, Mercedes-AMG GLC 43, and my personal favorite in this segment is the Audi SQ5. So all those vehicles, with the exception of the Porsche Macan Turbo, which starts at around $75,000, they all start in the low to mid $50,000 range. But what's kind of nice is that the Cadillac XT5 here, it undercuts them with a base price of just under $40,000. But like I said, this is the top trim Platinum, and it starts at $62,500. Now, this particular one only came with $350 worth of options, which is basically just a rear cargo slide, plus a $995 destination fee. You're looking at a grand total of $63,845 for this vehicle. Now, this is almost a $65,000 car, and when it almost feels like Cadillac just went into the GM parts bin and just recycled a few bits here, especially from the GMC Acadia, which is a fine vehicle itself. I don't know. I would expect things to be a bit more premium throughout. I don't want to see any traces of other GM vehicles in something that costs $65,000 nearly. But what is nice is that for rear seat passengers, you have the tri-zone climate control, their own climate control system there. And the seats do fold down 60/40 split folding. And yeah, we're doing that now. Just to give you an idea of the space, we put a baby seat in there. Yes, an electronic liftgate, also standard, which it should be in the midsize luxury crossover classification. Now, I do like that cargo slide there. That really does come in handy. And another thing I do like about the XT5 is that you get 30 cubic feet of cargo room, which is actually bigger than many of its competitors. Again, the interior in this vehicle is very, very spacious. And combined with the exterior, I think those two things alone are the best traits about the XT5. Now, again, what do I like about this? Again, nice exterior design, that chisel look, and the spacious interior, and the overall look of the dashboard as well. Now, what don't I like? Well, for starters, the V6 and 8-speed automatic transmission combo. Now, like I said, there were awkward shifts, and it doesn't sound very good, the engine. It sounds almost kind of coarse, and yet this is the same engine you're going to find on the Cadillac ATS and CTS. And bottom line, it just doesn't compare well to its German competitors, even though this is a naturally aspirated V6, when all those Germans are either going turbocharging or supercharging. Now, there was also some poor fit and finish in this vehicle. For an example, like I mentioned, there are metal climate control switches, but there are plastic buttons that control the heated and cooled seats, which, I gotta say, they take, multiple clicks to engage. And again, they shouldn't. Oh, and also, what didn't I like? The electronic shifter was just kind of difficult to use. But the overall exterior, especially from the front end, it looks really good. I'm glad Cadillac updated its emblem there. You can see it doesn't have that reef going around it anymore. It just makes it look a little sexier and modern, not so much like an old man brand anymore. So the dimensions of the vehicle, very, very nice. I liked it from all angles. But what I would like to see happen in a future update, which I think it really needs to happen very, very soon, is the interior improvements to the overall fit and finish, a transmission and suspension tuning, and basically, we all know Cadillac can do better, and the all-new CT6 flagship sedan is proof. Now, that CT6 just nailed it. There were a few things I didn't like, but overall, it is competitive, and I don't think this XT5 is all that competitive. It's almost there, and considering Cadillac is forcing a lot of its dealerships to either close or seriously upgrade to be more luxurious, I just don't see how this XT5 is going to become a sales hit for the brand, and it really needs to be. So I'm out of time for today, everyone. Thanks so much for watching. Any more questions for me, leave them in the comments section below. Any suggestions for future unboxing reviews, also leave those in the comments section. And be sure to check out the full review of the 2017 Cadillac XT5 Platinum all-wheel drive on carbuzz.com. See you next time.